Welcome to Rylyza'S Nightmares. While you sleep, the veil between your world and that of nightmares is sometimes extremely sensitive. It's worse if you have a lot of imagination. Because of this instability, it sometimes happens that entities manage to cross this veil. The Veil Pact, a secret society, works in the shadows to identify these entities.
Greetings. For the newcomers, my name is Jenkins, veteran of the Veil Pact. Today, I will introduce you to the 3 Bloodthirsty Knights. For this meeting, I am assisted by Vigil, an experienced operator, as well as Sephira, an essential nurse.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
The 3 Bloodthirsty Knights.
The Venator is the fastest of the 3 Bloodthirsty Knights. This demon appears when the Veil is extremely vulnerable. His victims are generally robust or trained men, such as athletes or professionals, carrying out very physically demanding jobs. He also attacks heavily armed men, often soldiers on operations. When the Venator attacks one or more victims, red rain appears around him. This demon charges his target using his steed, then breaks the bones and crushes the organs with the hooves of his mount. All this under his red and extremely acidic rain. This entity is capable of passing through any surface, like a spirit.
Additionally, he can physically interact with his victims, but the reverse is not possible. The Venator disappears after having wiped out around 10 individuals. There is currently no method to make this demon disappear, other than trapping him in a CVT-80. 2 years ago I was called after an incident with the Venator. When I arrived, the first thing I saw was the trampled, crushed, remains of a dozen unfortunate people on a devastated ground with bone fragments everywhere. The worst part
Sephira.
Sorry.
The Interfector is the most vicious of the 3 Bloodthirsty Knights. This entity also appears when the Veil is extremely vulnerable. Unlike the other 2, this demon only attacks isolated targets. His victims are only young men. No incidents involving women or children have been reported until today. When the Interfector attacks a man, his eyes glow with a green light, which instantly paralyzes his victim. An individual paralyzed by this demon cannot even blink an eye, then suffocates within 1 to 2 minutes. During this short period, the entity uses the sword to pierce the abdomen of his target. Finally, when this horrible scene ends, the Interfector stares at the dead body of the deceased for several minutes, still and in silence.
There is currently no traditional method for making this entity disappear. However, trapping the Interfector in a CVT-80, or keeping him under continuous control of at least 2 CVR-8 for around 10 seconds, makes him disappear. In general, after having massacred 2 to 3 victims, this demon vanishes. The Carnifex is the most brutal of the 3 Bloodthirsty Knights. Unlike the other 2, this entity appears when the Veil is extremely stable. This demon destroys absolutely everything in his path: humans, animals, buildings, and vegetation. The Carnifex has no particular target. Man, woman, child, this entity ravages everything without distinction. When the Carnifex attacks, everything around this entity bursts into flames for a distance of 100 meters. Then, his victims are trapped in a firestorm. Those who survive the burns and suffocation are eaten alive. Even if his appearances are extremely rare, this demon has always been at the origin of major fires in the history of humanity.
No traditional method can make this entity disappear. Trapping the Carnifex in a CVT-80 remains the only effective solution. Unlike the other 2, this demon only appears for a few moments, usually 1 to 3 minutes. After this time, he dissipates in flames.
According to our current theories, the three bloodthirsty knights constitute one and the same entity. It would have several forms. The Carnifex one would be used when the veil is too thick for it. Thanks to this form, the entity could pass through the veil for a short time. This tactic would allow it to achieve maximum damage thanks to its fires in a very short time and thus create nightmares, which has the consequence of weakening the veil.
The Venator is said to be a form used to increase nightmares. Indeed, its speed in slaughtering its victims with demonic violence drastically increases bad dreams, particularly among the agents of the Veil Pact when we are faced with this kind of scene.
Sometimes, I think about all the horrors I've seen since I became an agent of the Veil Pact. Especially in the evening, before I go to sleep. And you, Vigil, is this happening to you? You don't have to answer.
Finally, the Interfector would be a stable or restricted form of this entity. According to our archives, and compared to the other two, this form is slower. In addition, its appearances cause far fewer victims.
Jenkins, a Nakari appeared in your area. There are several witnesses. I'll send you the coordinates.
Understood. We'll be there right away. The call of duty, this meeting is coming to an end. See you soon.
It was a pleasure to see you again. Take care of yourself.
Jenkins and his team will return for new discoveries. Thank you for watching and see you next time for a new journey in the Rylyza'S nightmares.